In the late 1880s, Earl Booth was considered a wealthy man. He owned a large farm in Barber County on which he raised cattle and operated a sawmill. He was also known for his unusual trading ability. Through his enterprises, he accumulated a small fortune, but instead of putting his money in the local bank, he buried it at several locations on his farm. It was well known in the community that Mr. Booth did not trust banks and would not deposit any of his earnings with them. Two strangers were traveling through the community, and when they stopped at the general store for supplies, they overheard a conversation about Mr. Booth's hidden money. After leaving the store, they made plans to go to the farm and torture the man until he told them where his fortune was buried. They waited until late at night, when he was asleep, and after entering through a window on the opposite side of the house, slipped into his bedroom and woke him up. When they threatened his life, he told them where some of the money was buried, and while one man watched him, the other found a shovel and went to look for the treasure. After digging a shallow hole, he uncovered a small chest of silver and gold coins. When the man returned to the house, the two talked the matter over and decided they had been tricked. Booth refused to tell where the larger portion of his fortune was buried, and the two beat him to death. But before dying, he placed a curse on the two men and said that he would return as a ghost to protect his fortune. Fearing they would be caught, the two left the community, planning to return and find the rest of the money. 3 years later, they came back to the Booth farm during the night and set up a camp in the forest near the farmhouse. The next day, they started to look for the rest of the fortune. While digging under a large rock, one of the men was killed when the weight of the rock shifted and crushed him to death. The other one, thinking Booth's curse was to blame, attempted to escape. However, as he was riding away, a neighbor recognized him as one of the strangers who had passed through the community on the day of the murder. After some questioning, he admitted helping to beat Booth to death. Although he had confessed to the murder, he never stood trial, because 2 days later he was found dead in his cell. Apparently, he had died of heart failure. He looked as though he had been frightened to death during the night. No one has ever been able to locate Earl Booth's fortune. Some people believe Booth's ghost is still guarding the gold, which will remain buried forever on his old farm.